Good afternoon. Let's take a deep breath. What do you feel? The Hornets season is over. There's no games to look forward to. It's over, y'all. It's over. Like, now we just kind of have to assess the comments that were made in the exit meetings. As they show, y'all need to listen to us more. We need to grade these players. We just need to kind of debrief and just talk about the terrible last 6 games. But before we get started, Kaiser Sose, how was your week, black man?
Not bad. I mean, besides, the Hornets not playing, the Hurricanes are playing well. So just switch sports up and pretty good. How about yourself?
Jamal, how was your week, black man?
I am really fat and I am really out of shape. And yeah, man, this week, man, I realized how out of shape I was. My dog got away and I had to chase him in the backyard, man. And it wasn't pretty at all, bro.
It was like an episode of Cops. Remember, Cops, the cop be trying to chase the crackhead. He can't breathe out.
Give me that damn donut.
Hey man, y'all know how that dude was breathing all heavy during the Hornets and Pacers telecast. That was me. That was
me. Look, he sounded like Biggie and remember in one of his last interviews, he was just death around the corner.
Yeah, hey, shout at the TNT for that. What the hell, man?
What was that about, bro?
The audio mix, it sounded like the crowd was in the parking lot. I was like, what's going on here? I know it's the Hornets Pacers. And of all the 4 playing games, Hornets Pacers had the lowest rating out of all.
I think coming on at 6:30 might have had something to do with that.
Thank you. It's 6:30 p.m. Eastern time, which means my West Coast brothers ain't watching no damn game at 3:30 p.m. their time. They're in traffic trying to get home.
Yeah,
right.
Let's be realistic.
Yeah, I think the NBA, along with TNT, kind of dropped the ball on the playing game. It's weird. I don't feel like the NBA did enough to market the playing game, except for LeBron James versus Steph Curry. But
let me stop you right there. That's all they cared about, bro.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like they're touting the playoff game, and Adam Silver comes out later and says, "Oh, we think it was successful." But it's like y'all didn't do anything. Nobody outside of Charlotte or Indiana cared about that game. I just felt like the NBA kind of dropped the ball. And the TNT obviously didn't give a shit because the audio mix was all messed up. They had 2 random people commentating. It was.
I mean, well. I mean, let's be fair, man. The presentation kind of matched the game, so I mean,
yeah, that's true.
Yeah. About it.
Yeah, the Hornets didn't give a shit about that game.
Yeah, I mean, if the Hornets don't give a shit, why should TNT give a
shit? Great point.
Hey, so 2 more words before we get started, man. Go Canes. That's how my week
goes.
Go
Canes, yeah.
Go Canes, yes, sir.
They should have swept the Preds. They won't get a sweep, but I don't know. They look like they're ready for the Stanley Cup Finals to me. So
there you go.
Wow, yeah. One more thing Raleigh can brag on. Guys.
Right.
Guys, man, so this week we had a gang of exit interviews. One that kind of stood out directly was that of Mr. Mitch Kupchak. And so he recently kind of gave a vote of confidence to James Borrego. He basically said what most intelligent fans have been saying all year. We've exceeded expectation, even my expectations.
Well, that's a nice way to put it.
Yeah,
look, I'm not here to make friends. I'm grown. He said that basically they exceeded his expectations this year, and that JB is good in his book essentially. And he also acknowledged that we were still in a developmental phase. So this notion that we were going out to win, just specifically to try to make the playoffs and win, is hogwash. And finally, one thing interesting to me, he said that they will be open to spend this summer, but not too much. Specifically for a big man. Tice was rumored to be one of the bigs that they're interested in. I'm not particularly. I don't particularly like that one. He's a 6'8" center who's Cody Zello like, and Rashawn Holmes is all I got to say. Kaiser, what'd you think about Mitch's statements?
I mean, Mitch clearly has a plan. He's had a plan since he came here. The plan is going according to plan, despite what fans think. The timeline was accelerated a little bit because Gordon Hayward became available on the free agent market a year earlier than expected.
Kazim. Save that thought. We're gonna talk about the Gordon Hayward acquisition.
Okay. Yeah, but besides that, I think everything is going according to plan. They knew this wasn't going to be an overnight thing, that James Borrego wasn't going to come in and make the Hornets a contending team in 2-3 seasons, because they knew they had to develop players. And fans are very weird to me, because what's been the biggest knock on the Charlotte Hornets since Michael Jordan took over the team a decade ago? The Hornets, we don't develop players. We need to develop our draft picks. So the Hornets say, okay, you know what? You guys are right. Let's build a staff specifically to develop our players. They got James Borrego and Jay Triano, two guys that are known in the league for developing players. And go look at Triano's creds. That dude has developed literally all NBA players in his time at other teams. So they bring those two guys in, and we see the fruits of the labor. We see Miles Bridges. I mean, come on, look at Miles Bridges. Devontae Graham, most improved player candidate after spending a year in the G League. P.J. Washington, LaMelo Ball. They clearly have a good youth movement core, and they're doing a good job of developing. And I think Mitch is bang on with all of his points. Just because the Hornets flew too close to the sun and got their wings melted due to injuries is not a good reason to cast negativity over the season.
Look, man, the key word is consistency. Mitch Kupchak has been very consistent as far as what he said throughout his entire tenure of him being the general manager for the Charlotte Hornets. His behaviors, and when I say behaviors, I mean the way that he operates business has been consistent since he's been here. This franchise has gotten in trouble for making panic trades and kind of killing their long-term success. Look, we can take the good with the bad, but there hasn't been any quote-unquote Al Jefferson trades yet, you know what I mean, or free agent signings. That there haven't been any panic trades. We'll get to the Gordon Hayward situation in a little bit, but everything that Mitch Kupchak has done in his relatively brief time with the Hornets, it has bought more. What's the word I'm looking for? Relevancy to the Hornets. It has brought more cachet to the Hornets. I think more and more people on the outside looking in are looking at the Hornets as a franchise that's not so much of this joke that we were during the Bobcats Hornets years. Borrego has been consistent as far as what he's always said about James Borrego, regardless of what LaMelo Ball fans think about James Borrego. Borrego has been consistent in doing that. I think what has bought us, if we're talking about players, we're looking at LaMelo Ball, Miles Bridges, even Gordon Hayward. As much as he's struggled with injuries, I mean that they have bought a legitimacy to this franchise. So going forward, if I'm a free agent and I'm kind of deciding, what's a good destination, where would I make a name for myself? Charlotte doesn't look that bad. And that's ultimately what we want. Now, we didn't get the desired result from this season. We went out in a horrible way, but but you got to look at the long term, man. In the short term, we're fine. We're still ahead of schedule, as bad as it ended this season. We are Jamal, still. Go ahead, man.
Jamal, so to your free agency point, Gordon Hayward said that he wants to be a recruiter. He wants to get his LeBron on.
Right.
And people kind of summarily dismiss that statement. If you historically look at the younger teams, for instance, like I'm going down 85 South. You go to Atlanta. They were able to attract some pretty good damn free agents this offseason. Do you think that we have that potential to do that? And do you think LaMelo Ball is an attractive piece to play with in the future?
Absolutely. Hell yeah. That's an absolute hell yeah, man. And look, man, fans are going to be sour until we turn into a perennial playoff contender. That's just the reality. Fans are not going to believe in anything until it actually happens. That's just, there's nothing we can do about that. Mitch Kupchak knows that. But here's the thing I want to present to you guys. As much as the fans complain, it's a good thing. Let me tell you why. Because there was a moment in time in this franchise where nobody gave a shit what the Hornets did,
right.
Good or bad. You get what I'm saying? So at least the passion is there. Now, here's why I'm mentioning this, and here's why this is important. This also was a sign that everything is bringing more legitimacy to this franchise, because now we have fans who are actually engaged and paying attention for better or for worse. You get what I'm saying? And I think all of that matters when it comes to attracting free agents. I think free agents see that. I think Mitch Kupchak, to a certain degree, pays attention to that stuff. Mm-hmm. All of that matters, man. And I think we're going in the right direction.
Kaiser?
Yeah. I mean, first of all, who doesn't want to play with LaMelo Ball? Like, at least once a game.
Do you know who his dad is?
Yeah.
Do you know who his dad is? Why would you want to play for that?
At least once a game, I say, man, that might be the best pass I've ever seen. I mean, guys want to play. They'll want to play with LaMelo Ball. Second, Gordon Hayward is a very well-respected player in the league. Other players like Gordon Hayward. You think that he can't call up somebody and be like, hey, man, Charlotte's a great city. A lot of people underestimate what we're trying to do here. I really think that he's right. He could possibly recruit a name to come to Charlotte. Now, having said that, though, it's still Charlotte. We're still a mid to small market team. It's going to take a lot of convincing just to get a name, and we're still going to have to overpay whoever that is, because we'll never be as attractive as New York, Chicago, LA, or even Atlanta. Even though, Charlotte and Atlanta are very similar cities, but Atlanta is Atlanta. So that's still an obstacle I think the Hornets are going to have to overcome. It'll be easier than it was previously, because I think if you look at the Hornets core, you got LaMelo, Miles. First of all, those two guys, I cannot wait till next season when they're both healthy and on top of their games. Man, that's going to be a good thing to see. And then you've got a veteran like Gordon Hayward, holding it down for the youth movement. And then you got a dog like Terry Rozier in there. I do think a lot of free agents might say, I might be the piece that the Hornets need to get over that hump.
Right.
Gotcha. So, guys, man, we have two critical free agents coming up this offseason. We have Devontae Graham and Malik Monk. According to Malik Monk's interview, a lot of people don't think he's coming back. If you were Mitch, who would you prioritize signing? One of them, both of them, neither of them? And just kind of what are your backup plans?
Okay, I'll take this one first, because I've been mulling this over all week. Let me say, first of all, I think objectively both Malik Monk and Devontae Graham are good players, and it's really hard to say one is better than the other. Yeah. However, Hornets fans seem to have a very short memory, because the Hornets have needed a backup point guard, a competent and capable backup point guard forever. Ever since we drafted Kemba Walker, we never really found that guy that could still run the offense when our best point guard was sitting on the bench. Now we have that guy. Backup point guards in the NBA are far more valuable than what Malik Monk brings, which is inconsistent scoring. Okay. However, having said that, Malik Monk is he is an RFA with but the Hornets have a qualifying offer so they can get right to first refusal. The qualifying offer is only about $7.5 million, I think, and Monk will probably turn it down in order to be a restricted free agent. The problem is that other teams know what that qualifying offer is, and they're going to say, yeah, that's about the market for Malik Monk. He's not going to teams aren't going to want to pay him more than $8, maybe $9 million if a team is reaching.
I wouldn't.
Yeah, if you're the Hornets and you made him a $7.5 million qualifying offer, you'd make him an $8 million offer to match whatever team brings him in. So if I'm Mitch, here's what I do. I re-signed Devontae Graham. I let Malik Monk refuse the qualifying offer and see what's on the market, and then I match as long as it's under $9 million. And then I package Monk with that lottery pick, and I dangle it in front of teams. And I see who wants to bite. Somebody will bite on Malik Monk plus a lottery pick for a big name. Because the thing is, we know the Hornets need a big man. There are no good big men projected to come out of the first round in this draft, and maybe not the second round. There's
whoa. Hold on. Evan Mobley.
Yes, but he's not going to be available for the Hornets are projected to pick. Now,
got a point.
If we get lucky again and it's a top 3 pick, okay, yeah.
You stay.
Right. Game changer.
Yeah, that's different. But I don't even think we're really playing the odds at that point. So let's say Evan Mobley is off the board, which he probably will be no matter what the Hornets pick, unless they pick in the top 2 or 3. I think a lot of teams, you give Malik Monk, especially with an $8 million contract, and then you throw a top 10 pick on top of that. I think a lot of teams would jump all over that. I mean, you could get a quality big man. Do you think Vucevic is like really that planted in Chicago? You think Sabonis is really that planted in Indiana to where you couldn't give those teams Malik Monk in a top pick?
It is funny. I hate to cut you off, but it's funny. It's funny you mentioned Indiana because another rumored guy that's going to be centered around the Hornets is going to be Miles Turner. It's going to happen this summer, trust me. So where I was going with my take, I wasn't going to actually mention the trade, but now that we're here, now that you've mentioned that, you've made this interesting because what if I'm Indiana? What if I'm Indiana and Charlotte calls up and say, hey man, we got this pick along with Malik Monk. What you want to do? Miles Turner hasn't been in good favor with Indiana. For whatever reason, he had a pretty down year offensively. I don't think Indiana's very high on Miles Turner. We could use somebody like him. So what do you do if you're Indiana? Now, to more directly answer Rodney's question, if I'm Mitch Kupchak, what's my priority? Now, to Kaz's point, I'm not going to sit here and say who's better because I think it's just a nitpick at that point to try to sit here and compare those two guys. I will say definitively Devontae Graham is more valuable. That doesn't mean I think he's a better basketball player, but he is definitely more valuable to the Hornets than Malik Monk is to the Hornets. So if I'm prioritizing, I'm prioritizing Devontae Graham all day for all the reasons Rodney said, man. People can say whatever they want to about Devontae Graham, but when that second unit doesn't have Devontae Graham, they tend to fall apart offensively. Nobody runs the offense with that second unit quite like Devontae Graham does. And if you lose him, to me, you have a big hole to fill. I don't expect Brad Wanamaker to be back. I think he hits free agency. I don't expect him to be on this team either way. So again, without Devontae Graham, where are you going with this? Okay, are you handing Grant Riller the keys to the backup point guard role? Are you are you looking at free agency? Are you looking at the draft? What is your plan if you don't sign Devontae Graham? You're fine without Malik Monk. There's a lot of wings on this team that can immediately fill that role. Maybe not scoring so much, but you have a guy like Cody or Caleb Martin who can immediately be the backup 2 or 3. So you're fine with that. So if I'm Mitch Kupchak, I have to prioritize Devontae Graham.
Plus, Devontae, according to his interview and things that he said during the season, he's kind of acquiesced to that backup role. It's hard to find a player in the NBA
who's going to accept it,
who will accept that. Hey, I'm the backup because the guy ahead of me is clearly better. Devontae Graham knows. Everybody knows LaMelo Ball is the future of the team, and he's a future point guard. Plus, Devontae, in very limited spurts, can play the two. So he knows that he's going to get his chances in that rotation, in those guard rotations. I just think, like Jamal said, it's too valuable to not make a deal. I expect plus the elephant in the room. Devontae he's a Mitch guy. Malik Monk is not. That's the old regime. And Cody Zeller presumably will be gone this season. Biz is certainly gone. If Malik is gone, the old regime is over.
It's entirely gone.
Yeah, there's nobody left from that old team, and we finally, after 3 seasons, have a completely 100% turned over team. So I expect Mitch to make Devontae a deal, but I really think Monk as a trade piece is also very more valuable to the Hornets than he is a player, actually. Especially, we all know the Hornets need a big man.
Yeah, and let me. I want to kind of interject and ask y'all a question, man. And I kind of know what Rodney's going to say to this, man. But do you think the brass has finally got to a point where this is like, okay, Malik, you've shown us enough. It's time to move on. Do you think the brass has finally reached that point?
I don't honestly, man. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because Mitch has said numerous times that Malik is, if not the most talented player on the roster.
Right. Which could be true. Right.
He's given a vote of confidence in him. We stuck by him when it was just easy to toss him aside. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. Kudos to him for pulling through and being a better pro, but it's all dependent upon what he wants.
Speaking of what he wants, the main quote that stuck out, he said, "I want to feel wanted." So translation, pay me. That's what I get.
You know what? You know what? That's crazy. Like, to me, feeling wanted is people that stick by you when you're in the roughest of patches.
Right.
You could have been easily tossed aside, but they stuck by you. They never spoken negatively of you in the press or in the public when you've had your issues. It's always we believe in Malik. Malik will pull through. Malik will do this. But I mean, I'm gonna say this: it just takes one team. We've seen this in the NBA. It just takes one team to overpay, and the NBA is about potential. And Malik Monk has the potential to be like a Lou Williams light type of guy off the bench. You get about a quick 16, 17, 18 a game.
Right.
When he fully matures into his body, he can do that. I believe he can do that. But the question is Mitch willing to wait, and is Mitch willing to pay him?
Yeah.
For potential.
Right.
Yeah, well, I mean, fortunately, Monk is a restricted free agent. Like you said, it only takes one team to overpay. If a team overpays, the Hornets won't match. But I think if a team makes Monk an offer that falls within the range of the qualifying offer that the Hornets made, they'll match it. It's so hard when you have a player that is obviously talented and obviously has a ton of potential. It's so hard to move on from that player. But at some point, you got to shit or get off the pot. And I understand that it's been a rough patch for Malik the end of last season through this season. He has the drug program thing. The Hornets stuck with him through that, and that's a big thing that gets overlooked. The Hornets actually had the right to waive him without any dead cap space left over because he failed phase 1 of that program. The Hornets could have completely cut ties with Malik Monk, according to the CBA, and they wouldn't have had to pay him a dime, but they chose to allow him to finish the program and keep him on the team. So then he gets COVID. So then that decelerates his timeline some, and then everyone's complaining that he's not getting enough minutes. But Borrego's like, look, man, the guy's not completely back from COVID. And finally, he works his way back into the rotation. He's playing great, and then what happens? Ankle injury. And then even when he came back, he wasn't quite the same. You could tell that, he was winded and he didn't have, the same amount of bounce that he had before that injury. So I get it. It's been tough, and that's why it's very difficult to evaluate Malik Monk. I don't think the Hornets want to let him go. And I actually think they'll keep him if a team doesn't make him some
Crazy offer.
So guys, I've been thinking about this, man. People might hate me for saying this. Sometimes it's best for somebody to move on. For instance, I'm gonna give you a guy who's not. Well, Malik is not on his level of troubles. Kevin Porter Jr.
Mm-hmm.
Look at him in Cleveland. He had the incident with the coach.
Right.
Some stuff with the coach. Had the issue with the gun. They basically gave him away for nothing because he needed a change of scenery, and they needed to start fresh. Houston took a chance on him. He lit it up at the end of the season, had a 50-point game.
50-point game.
The dude looks like James Harden Jr. out there. But, I mean, in order for him to flourish, he had to go somewhere else. And, look, man, you guys know I've been critical of Malik, but at the end of the day, he's a young black man, and I want him to succeed. So if the Hornets aren't the place for him to succeed, I'm more than comfortable with him going to find his place in life. Find your place. Sometimes it just does not work out. Like,
hey, look, Rodney.
It's nobody's fault.
No. That is very noble. I understand as a human being, you want that man to flourish. But if I'm Mitch Kupchak and Michael Jordan, I'm like, God damn it, we go about to give this dude away for nothing. Again, it's another lottery pick that we're gonna let walk for nothing. I don't know if I feel so comfortable with that, man.
I mean, if you look at this, if you look at it like this, so a team offers him, say, I'm gonna throw a team out there, say the Raptors. Toronto comes in, okay, we're committed to a rebuild. Masai Ujiri's like, okay, I believe in Malik Monk. I'm going to offer him 4 years, $60 million, 15 per year.
Yeah, bye. It's been real.
So technically, you lost them for nothing.
Yeah, I'd have to at that point. I mean, there's no choice.
It's a catch-22. It's whatever.
Hey man, Swagner in the chat is asking a really good question. I think we should probably get to, man. So Deadspin, some guys that are not really known for writing sports articles, basically said that the Charlotte Hornets are approaching the wheel of mediocrity again. I wanted to get you guys' thoughts on that, and what do you think about the Hornets being going in circles, so to speak, again?
So let's start. This is year 2 of a rebuild. James Burgess has been here for 3 years.
I don't know how many times we have to say that.
The stated goal that the Hornets had when Kemba was here, the directive was to make the playoffs. They failed, and they pivoted and said, hey, we're not going to resign our top 2 scorers, which is Jeremy Lamb and Kemba Walker. So, hey, we're going to rebuild. At that point, they drafted – so that first year they drafted Devontae Graham, Miles Bridges. Great draft. I'm liking the returns thus far. The next year, it was P.J. Washington, Jalen McDaniels, and the Martins. I'm liking the returns thus far. P.J. has been up and down. Mm-hmm. This past year, it's LaMelo Ball, and the jury's still out on the 2 big men. Look, big men take a little more time to develop. LaMelo Ball, you're already liking the returns on investments. This year, you're back in the lottery. You don't even know where your pick is going to be at. And if it's another top 5 pick, how can you say we're in a treadmill of mediocrity when essentially we're on a track to basically we could have had an all-star this year in Gordon Hayward if he didn't have some messed up games, whatever, and voting or whatever. And before all the injuries hit, we were a top 4 seed in the East. Like, you can't discount that at all. Right. We were a top 4 seed when the injuries hit. LaMelo was out. Gordon Hayward is out. Devontae Graham was out. Miles missed some time. PJ missed some time. Oh, Miles missed some time. Miles missed time. LeBron should be missing, but I'm not going to go there. And James Borrego fought over all of that to still make the play-in game as a 10th seed, even though we had a bad last half of the season. ESPN recently upped our rankings in the future power rankings because they like the development we've been doing. Who the fuck is Deadspin? Like, what basketball credentials do they have to specifically write about this? Excuse my language, but they sound like a butthurt LaMelo Ball fan from California who's mad that he didn't get drafted by the Lakers or the Clippers. That's all I'm saying. Like, it doesn't make any sense at this point.
I wonder if any writers are in the Hornets group. Kaza, can you top that?
Man, that's the most contradictory ass article I ever. The article says, essentially, it says the Hornets have to tank so they can build through the draft.
What the hell have we been doing?
What exactly? And then it goes on to praise the fact, the Hornets did draft Miles Bridges, Devontae Graham, LaMelo Ball, but then it says drafting LaMelo Ball hurt the Hornets because he's so good, he's going to keep them out of the lot. What? What are you trying to say, bro? I don't get it. So you're saying, well, the Hornets have to be bad enough to draft someone really good, but they can't draft anyone really good because then they won't be bad enough to draft someone really good. Man, get them. This is what happens in our current state of internet media, where anyone can just be a writer. Anyone, right. People can't just be saying anything and think that because he writes for Deadspin that no one's going to check him on that. Well, you're getting checked, bro. So I don't. And this is also what happens when a team like the Hornets that have been out of the national media spotlight for like 30 years suddenly gets thrust back into that spotlight. Everyone suddenly got an opinion piece on the Hornets because he knows that LaMelo Ball's got.
Kaza, they're not the only ones who have an opinion piece about the Hornets.
Yeah, exactly. So he knows LaMelo Ball gets clicks. In fact, the headline says, despite LaMelo Ball, the Hornets are doomed to run the treadmill of mediocrity. You got to throw LaMelo Ball's name in there so the algorithm gets your clicks up and people come click on your little clickbaity ass article. I don't.
All right, so here's my side question, man. And the very second we lost that game, versus Indiana, I saw some takes coming from some sources that I hadn't seen ever talk about the Hornets before, man. So I guess my question, man, is it all bad that we're getting this much attention? You know what I mean? Because just like to Kaza's point, it's a lot of people who've become interested in the Hornets for better or for worse. So it's just like,
let me tell you something. I was in a group the other freaking day, and we were. It was like a watch thing. And look, this is my thing. If you do not watch a team, shut your trap.
Please shut up. Thank you.
Shut your trap. Like this guy said, "Oh man," he's like, "Oh, the Hornets maxed out this year because I don't see them getting better next year." I'm like, "What the hell are you talking about?" Like,
how many games you watch, bro?
Listen. He said they don't have any defense and they don't have any creators on offense. I said, first of all, we play with a 6'7" center, and we were still one game away from being 8th in the Eastern Conference, and we still made the playing game. Second of all, you're saying outside of LaMelo we don't have any young prospects. Okay, look, I took a screenshot for you. Look at Miles Bridges' last month of the season. Come back to me.
Right.
They don't develop. Terry Rozier, did you think that he would be this good leaving Boston?
No.
Nobody did. Nobody did.
Okay, my point is
I dare somebody to say that they did, because
it's just frustrating and maddening. It's also short-sighted when you got idiot Hornets fans who react off emotion, and then it's fire everybody. This player sucks. This player sucks. This player sucks. Look, Indiana was the more experienced team. Indiana had the best player in that game, probably the best 2-3 players. Terry Rozier was hurt, which we did not know about. LaMelo Ball, he stated he'd never got back the full range of motion in his wrist. So we're already playing from a deficit. Like, playoff experience matters. Like, we got blitzed and we responded a little better in the second half, but this is just a learning experience. Sometimes you got to get your ass kicked to get better in the future.
Oh, yeah. Those guys, they're going to remember that. The guys, when they come out next year, they're going to remember that game. It was just one game, but they're going to never forget the time the Indiana Pacers ran them off the court on national
TV and had everybody talking about them. Right. Yeah. Right.
And look, man, Frederick, bro, I respect you, but Mark Jackson will probably never get another game coached in the NBA. You need to look up what happened in Golden State with Mark Jackson and some of the things he believes, which is kind of contrary to the NBA belief system. And he's probably not going to get another job, unfortunately. We got to stop that.
I'll say this about Mark Jackson. We weren't ecstatic about the Steve Clifford era. Do you want the Steve Clifford era again? Then you hire Mark Jackson. Same kind of coach. These old school defensive-minded coaches that don't like to shoot a lot of threes, don't like to run the court up the pace. I'm not saying that Mark Jackson is a bad coach, but it's like we kind of already did that. And I think one of the reasons they wanted James Borrego is because he's young and he's got a newer school coaching philosophy. He likes to give his players the green light. They shoot a lot of threes. They pick the pace up. I think that's the thing about Mark Jackson that I think does not make him attractive to Michael Jordan.
Look, man, and you got to give Steve Kerr credit. He opened up that offense. He started Draymond Green. Spacing was his thing. He's look, think about this. He's a Popovich disciple, a Phil Jackson disciple, and a Lenny Wilkens disciple. He played for Lenny Wilkens when he was in Cleveland. He's had the tutelage of 3 great coaches. He opened up that offense. He's one of the main cogs as to why Golden State was the machine they were where they were. Let's put some respect on Steve Kerr's name.
Can we put some respect on the coach that we have? Can we put some respect on James Borrego's name? Because everybody who wants another damn coach can never give me a legitimate reason why, besides LaMelo Ball don't play 42 minutes a game. Give me another reason why we should have another coach at this stage of the rebuild.
Hello, Jamal. He can't get his rotations right. When he lets his players rest. What are you resting them guys for when they get hot? I don't understand why. That real quick, that Hornets fans, that is the most ridiculous complaint. That man, such and such got hot and Borrego sat him. The dude, he can't play a whole game. You gotta rest.
And then the crazy thing is, we went with an 8-9 man rotation. And like Kaz alluded to, you can't play the full 48. You got to rest sometimes.
You have to rest, guys.
As to Kaz's point before, LaMelo Ball has probably never played that many games ever in the season. You have to – I don't care that he's 19, 20 years old. You have to factor that in. It's a whole new ball game for him. Like, it's a learning period he has to adjust.
But speaking of that, man, I'm really not trying to sound mean or condescending when I say that, but I think there are fans who don't understand what it is like to play on a professional level and how much it takes, how much of an effect it has on your body to play 48 minutes a game on an NBA level, man. Rotations have to be set. Minutes have to be managed. You cannot manage minutes on emotions and how hot a player is. You will burn players out that way. That's why you have to manage minutes, guys.
Everyone wonders why Derrick Rose had so many injury issues in Chicago.
Lord have mercy, man.
Look, I tell my Knicks friends, I'm like, y'all better enjoy these 2-3 years, because after this,
boy, it's all. I'm telling you, they're gonna be sick of him.
Randall ain't gonna have no damn knees.
They're gonna get sick of him, bro. I swear.
Oh man. So, man, look.
One more thing about Borrego, and we mentioned when he was asked about the centers, and he was basically saying, "Hey, we've had a problem at center for 3 years." You try to manage a team and manage minutes with that deficit. when you're going into games at a disadvantage at one position every single game. I want anybody who has something to say about Borrego to try to manage that. And please don't come out here and say, "Oh, well, you should have played rookie Vernon Carey more." Shut up. Let's move on, man. I'm ready.
Hey, hold on. He gave Vernon Carey a chance. I'll say this about Borrego. He gives everyone a chance. Vernon Carey had a good game, starting, but there's a lot of things people don't realize. He
wasn't in the scouting report.
He wasn't on the scouting report, so the teams didn't even know until tip-off Vernon Carey was going to play. He has a really good game, a really good offensive game. The Hornets still lost that game, by the way. So he has a really good offensive game, and then he says, "Well, I got to look at Vernon Carey. He starts the next 2 games and plays terribly." So my question is,
Hey, man.
So my question is, do you want to win games? Do you want to give your team the best chance to win?
Or do you want to see your favorite player play?
Do you want to see your favorite player make mistakes and lose games? Now, that's a valid, if that is your thing, because some people do think, well, I'd rather see such and such go out there, make mistakes, and try and develop rather than see the Hornets win, because a lot of people feel like the Hornets winning really doesn't mean anything. Second, the Hornets don't even though before, if you go back episodes of Under Construction, I said the Hornets should draft Vernon Carey, actually. But the thing is, the Hornets need a defensive center. Vernon Carey has a lot of tools offensively. Defensively, he's not getting it done. And it is very hard to learn defense in the NBA. Very, very, very hard, especially as a big man where every other big man is as athletic as you, bigger than you. It's very hard. The reason Vernon Carey got yanked out of those games that he started the next 2 is because he was getting roasted on the other
hand. They were attacking him.
Yes, they were going right at him. Right? Why? Because they looked at the other team, looked at the scouting report and was like, Vernon Carey, really? Vernon Carey, really? They went right at him. Refs called foul after foul after foul because Vernon Carey had not learned how to defend without fouling. And as our friend Danny Thompson will probably tell you right here, the Hornets, like most teams in the NBA, didn't get to practice as much as they normally do. They had to watch film. It's very difficult for the players like Vernon Carey to develop physical traits like playing defense just by watching film. So, there's a lot of things that Hornets fans don't realize when it comes to Vernon Carey.
And then also, if you look at it, man, at the beginning of the year, the draft was in, what was the draft in? September?
Yeah. Hey, are we bringing Danny on?
Yeah, well, Danny having sound issues right now.
I got you.
And so they literally got drafted, and then the next month it was a condensed preseason, a condensed training camp, and like Danny said, there was no like me and Danny talked about. There was no time to practice all year. So they did not get those reps. You had a condensed G League season down in Orlando, which is only like 10 games. And so they didn't have time to adjust. Danny, you want to add to that? Danny? Well, Danny's not going to add to anything.
Danny's on 28.8 dial-up. Trust me, I would have liked personally. I would have liked to see Nick Richards get more playing because I feel like
he's more of what we need.
Natural 7-footer, rebound, shot blocker. We don't really need a offensive center. We just need a guy who can catch a damn pass under the basket and dunk every so often. But I really think that Nick Richards is more of what the Hornets need. And I know that there's a sentiment, well, they can't possibly be any worse than Biz or Cody, but
yeah, actually they can. Yes, they can, guys.
I really
it's hard to believe.
Y'all know me. I hate to defend Bismack Biyombo. I really, really do.
But not when it makes sense, though.
Yeah, there's a reason why Biz got the minutes
Let me speak to Biz real quick. Look, I'm going to say this for the 25th time, and I hope somebody understands me when I say it for the 26th time. There's a difference between being more talented and being a better pro. Everybody's more talented than Bismack Biyombo. I'm more talented than Bismack Biyombo. Okay, everybody's more talented. Okay, Bismack gets minutes. Shut up, Rodney. Bismack, he gets minutes because he knows how to play defense in the NBA. For anybody who really watches, you'll notice that Biz is kind of the quarterback of his defense. He is directing guys on where to go, who to cover, who to switch, all this stuff. He kind of overachieves for his size defensively. He's only 6'8".
Oh, if Biz was 7 foot,
we wouldn't be talking about him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Biz kind of overachieves for his size. He still defends the post better than any big that we have. Offensively, I have no defense for him. I don't offer any defense for him, whatever, okay? But he is on the floor because he is still the best defensive option that we have. It is that simple. It's that simple, guys.
Okay, guys, look. I'm depressed. We're talking about Biz.
Right.
3%. That's how he ended the season for me.
3%. Yes. Right.
Got his ass yanked off the playoff game and playing game.
And look, this is all for naught because we won't see him again next season. So everybody can move on from this time.
I think if they bring Biz back,
it'll be pitchforks at the arena.
I'm riding. Yeah, we're going. We'll
be in front of the arena.
We starting fighting. I'll call up Kwame Brown. Be like, look, man, we need your help. Kwame.
So your mom was cooking. Hey man, so Jamal, I want you to talk about the next topic, man. This is what you brought up.
All right, man. Being that I am a longtime resident of West Side Charlotte, Beatties Ford Road, to be exact, this was a topic that was near and dear to my heart. We have a developer. His name is Christopher Dennis. He works for E-Fix Development Corporation, and he has some big plans for the west side of Charlotte. He has 2 or 3 phases that he has plans for. Some of those plans are very early development. One of the sites is the old McDonald's cafeteria that tends to change businesses every week. I don't even know what it is at this point, but everyone who is an OG West Side Charlotte resident knows that we have been starving for some real development. We do not want a Popeye's chicken on Beatties Ford Road. I kind of do, but you get the point. I kind of do, but you get the point, though.
Hey, don't all of us, Jamal.
But the reality is, man, we are starving for something different on the west side, man. And he tends to have some big plans. One of the captions for this article, which is in QC Metro, City Metro, by the way, it is called "Christopher Dennis Wants to Change the Narrative of Beatties Ford Road and LaSalle." Now, we do have residents who have a concern about the gentrification and who this is actually being developed for. So, Charlotte guys, what do you think about the whole idea of redevelopment of Beatties Ford Road?
Look, man, I actually drove down for the first time in forever down by Johnson C. Smith. And it's just so strange seeing that streetcar line kind of riding down that way. And then I'm
gonna tell you what's stranger.
You know what Church Chicken is?
No. I'm gonna tell you what's really strange. There's a $3 million house behind Johnson C. Smith. 2 of them actually. Yeah. Go ahead, sir.
And then you know that Church's is you make that left down that street,
right,
to go toward Brookshire. It's look, man. 15 years ago, when it got dark outside.
You don't be over there.
You wouldn't catch me over there.
Mm-mm.
And now, man, it's so many teardowns and rebuilds. It just kind of hurts my heart that for this area to get redevelopment like this, new people had to come to the area. You get what I'm saying?
Right. Like, absolutely.
Like there's now a Jet's Pizza right there, a Rita's
ice cream,
and it's just like. The people that were here before wanted all these type of amenities before, but were they not worthy enough for you to give that to them then?
But see,
And then,
that goes back to my Popeye's chicken joke. Like, y'all know where I was going with that. And that's speaking to your point, right? You get what I'm saying? Like, why do we always have to have the stereotypical stuff when the black people were on the West Side? But now we're getting all these different businesses. But go ahead and finish. I didn't mean to cut you off, though.
and I looked in the article, like he was like, look, I applaud the brother for trying to do good, but he was like, why is there electric car charging stations in
South Park,
South Boulevard and South Park? I'm like, because we don't own electric cars, bro. We don't own Teslas, bro. It don't work like that. Like, I mean, I get that point, but I mean, this area has needed to be revitalized. And what I would like to see, honestly, is people from the community or people of color just get first preferences over these businesses that's going to be here. So somebody wants to start a clothing store, you start a clothing store. So somebody owns a person of color owns a State Farm. Let them have their State Farm right there so they can sell to their people. Like, in order to protect the area, you have to have people that are from the area reinvest into it.
Absolutely. No doubt.
It's as simple as that. If you don't want your neighborhood to get gentrified under what we consider to be the negative definition of gentrification, then you have to reinvest in it yourself. You have to make the property value high enough so where developers cannot come in and make a profit off of your neighborhood. But to be fair, there's also the issue of, going back to the issue of targeting a demographic. You got to make money off of these ventures. Else you just develop an area and then it goes under, and now it's worse than what it was before. Like, you can't stick a brewery on Beatties Ford Road and think it's going to be successful.
Right. Unless you have different people living on Beatties Ford Road who will support the brewery.
Wait, I got some ideas for a hood brewery now.
Okay, well,
we can talk about this off camera. We can talk about
that would be dope. A hood brewery. I mean, you can market that and make some money.
Man, look. We got MD 4040 on tap. We got
a trap brewery.
Yeah.
Go on, man. Go on.
I mean, anytime you talk about redevelopment in a predominantly black community, that has to be handled with some delicacy. It really, really does. But I really hope actually that they're able to make the West Side more. I remember when Obama came years and years ago, the airport's in West Charlotte.
Yep.
They made a route to avoid having to drive Obama through the west side of town to get to where he was going, because
let's not drive this black ass president through the black side of town.
Yeah. Let's not take him through the black area of town. I was kind of
we're concerned about our image.
Yeah, it was embarrassing because now the whole world believes that West Charlotte is just like this undesirable place to be. It was just kind of embarrassing. So when I look at, and me and Rodney, technically we live in West Charlotte, a little past it, but we drive through. You drive down Roswell's Ferry or Hoskins. Sometimes I cut through to get downtown. I don't think those areas will ever be more than what they are, unfortunately. But it all starts with areas like Beatties Ford Road. I mean, that's essentially the central hub of West Charlotte. You start there, everything else, kind of spreads out. And I'm not saying that this area needs to be the next Ballantyne or even South End. I hope not. But I think you can do a lot to increase the quality of living for the residents there, in which in turn reduces crime in the area because people have more opportunities.
Yeah, and speaking to, I'm glad you said that. Perfect segue, because what I was most worried about. Now, we all can agree to really improve a community in the neighborhood. You got to put some positive stuff in that community, in the neighborhood. But it goes back to the question, man: who is it really being built for? Now, all the brown people and all the existing people who already live here, are they going to reap the benefits, from this development? Are they going to have those jobs and opportunities that this redevelopment is going to present itself to? Now, for me personally, man, I'm tired of having to travel so far to go get a smoothie. Sometimes I don't want to go downtown to get coffee.
Me and Cousin have to travel far to get a smoothie. We go to Hip Hop Smoothies. I'm going to mute.
Yeah, please do. Yeah, but you guys get what I'm saying, man. It's just like you can't paint everyone with the same paintbrush as far as who is already in this community, man. So I definitely welcome the change. I welcome the development, but again, man, I'm just more concerned about who is going to reap the benefits from these opportunities. And I want the people who already live here to reap those benefits, aside from having higher taxes. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see how it goes, man.
We shall see. We shall see. Shout outs, man. Anybody got any shout outs?
I want to shout at everyone who has turned into a damn journalist since the Hornets have lost their playing game. I want to shout out everyone who is a damn basketball expert all of a sudden. I want to shout at all of the new members of the Charlotte Hornets Facebook page since we lost. I want to shout out the Carolina Hurricanes because, damn it, we have nothing else to root for around here at this point. I want to continuously shout out the people who show up in our chat group all the time, whether we agree or disagree. Frederick, good shout out. Swagner, man, we always love your support. Definitely. Yeah, everybody who's in there today, man. Sherrod, longtime supporter, man. So shout y'all out as always, man. I think that's all I got this week, man.
Kaiser.
I'm gonna shout at the NBA. Why isn't LeBron James suspended for 14 games?
So
we all know the answer why, but it's man, that is a bad look. Now, I've heard people say that Miles Bridges actually had COVID, and the reason he was suspended for the amount of time he was because he couldn't produce 2 negative tests, but no one knows that for sure. That's just speculation. The fact of the matter is that LeBron James violated COVID protocols, and from what we've seen historically this season from people who violate the protocols, they typically miss 10 to 14 days. LeBron is not missing any. To me, that's kind of ridiculous. Also, shout out to LeBron. Do you know how many professional athletes get poked in the eye? Don't act like a sniper headshot at them.
Wait. He picked the right rim out of 3. Give him credit.
Hey, great shot to end the game. Big. I mean, great players hit great shots. I mean, that's all you can say about that. But come on, man. I mean,
the Oscar goes to.
Getting poked in the eye sucks. It really does suck, and it hurts. But come on, man. You 6'9", 260, bro.
Hey, shout out to Rodney. He is Negro Damas. He picked the Memphis Grizzlies to beat the Golden State Warriors, man. Shout out to Rodney for picking that correctly.
I'm on that Ja train. I've been on that Ja train for about 2 years now. People, when you look at players, stats are important, but what does the eye test show you?
Right.
That dude is a leader. His team follows him, and he's from South Carolina, man.
Hey, I got a hot take. I got a real quick hot take.
What's up?
The Memphis Grizzlies are going to put the heat on the Charlotte Hornets as far as next year and us making the playoffs. That's my hot take for the day. Go ahead.
You know what? I'm gonna take a hot take offline because I don't want to start nothing.
I got you
in the comments.
I'm gonna shout at the play-in tourney. I still think it's a bad idea. The NBA is trying to tout it like it's a success.
Look, man, look. Steph Curry has been taking unnecessary heat, saying that he can't lead his team to the playoffs.
That's asinine.
If this was the regular year, they'd have been 8th seed.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Stop that. And the Lakers are clearly more talented than them.
Yeah.
It took a LeBron prayer for them to beat the Golden State Warriors.
Real quick, man. I hate that Steph is getting the smoke when Andrew Wiggins is the one that deserves the smoke. He's the most frustrating player in the NBA to watch, man. I'm sorry, dude.
It's like he has all the tools, but it just never comes together.
You said it perfectly, but go ahead, bro.
The NBA's their issue has always been, and this is why they will not leapfrog the NFL in terms of popularity, parity. We talk about it all the time. The NBA has no parity. The teams are very, very top heavy, and you know that you could be a really, really good 6 seed, but you're not going to win the championship. And the teams that are below that just have no chance. This was kind of the way of the NBA injecting a little bit of parity, because now no matter how bad your team is, well, you still got a chance.
Right.
You know, and I think the play-in tourney is going to stick around because that's going to help the NBA achieve this false sense of parity. But like Rodney said, it kind of undermines the fact that the NBA playoffs, the best team always wins the championship every year. The best team, I feel like, every year has always won the championship, unlike
except the Miami Heat with LeBron and Wade. Never mind.
I mean, there's been some, but I mean, I'm good with any of those teams winning the championship because they were so good. Whereas, although the Memphis Grizzlies, I mean, shout out to them for winning that game, but the fact remains is that
they're gonna get their butt whooped.
Well, yeah, they're gonna get trounced in the first round. But the Golden State Warriors were the 8th seed. They deserve to be in the first round of the playoffs.
Speaking of AC, guys, I want to spread some sunshine. There's a bright side for the Hornets not making the quote unquote real playoffs. We don't have to get swept by the Philadelphia 76ers. We will leave that.
I'm not gonna argue with you there. Like I thought about that today. I'm like, oh man, Philly plays the Wizards. I'm like, the Wizards are probably better suited to play them than us.
Have fun with it.
But man, look,
and then everyone be like, all these people that said that people owe Russell Westbrook an apology. What they gonna say? What they gonna say when it's 4-0 Philly? Who apologizes then? Ain't nobody apologizing.
Don't go there, man. But look, man, I'm gonna give a shout out to Jamal, man. I'm trying to get the OG on Clubhouse. He's been in some of these rooms. I see you, man. I see you. And then
no comment.
Huh?
No comment.
and then I'm gonna try to if anybody's on Clubhouse, man, look, we're just gonna I'm gonna try to do this once a week. Just like we just chat about the Hornets, man. And Danny said he'll join. And shout out to Danny for trying to join.
Next week.
Next week. Let's get him on next week.
He got that 28.3 mobile, Boost mobile phone. So he'll be on next week, guys. And thank you guys so much for watching. We appreciate y'all and have a good Sunday.
Peace out, y'all. Next week.